Hello everyone, my name is Phil Charron and I'm the Fire Chief for the City of Lowell. The truck that you see behind me is Engine 1, stationed at Gorham Street, the oldest active firehouse in the city. It services an area encompassing the Sacred Heart District, South Lowell, and the areas around Gorham Street and Air City. The fire truck scheme of paint has been changed within the last 4 years, and you'll notice in relation to the previous fire trucks that we no longer have white over red, but currently have a black over red paint scheme. You'll also notice on the truck that the City of Lowell is announced more prominently with the lettering on the driver and the passenger sides. In closing, I'd like to thank everyone for the opportunity to demonstrate this vehicle and the new piece of fire apparatus for the fire department.
Hi everyone, my name is Captain Celine Pinet with the City of Lowell Fire Department. I'm here today to talk to you about our new 2022 Pierce Enforcer fire engine. The engine itself is a 450 horsepower Cummins engine with an Allison transmission. We have a 750 gallon plus water tank that has the capability of flowing 1,250 gallons per minute. Let's go over to the front of the engine and look at some of the new features. So I'm here today to talk to you about our newest apparatus in the City of Lowell, Engine Company Number 1. Engine Company Number 1 was delivered to the City of Lowell in December of 2022. Engine Number 1, first and foremost, is an engine, or also known as a pumper. So the vehicle itself does carry water on board. We have a 750 plus gallon tank of water. And when we run out of that water, we take feed from a fire hydrant in order to maintain water pressure and continue flow of water. One of the great new features of this new Pierce fire engine is a single pane of glass on our windshield. A lot of the other fire engines, they have a split in the middle. This one has one large single pane of glass, which allows us better visibility as we're rolling up on scene to do a scene size up and see what's going on in an emergency situation. Also on the front bumper here is all of the sirens. It's that rolling siren that you hear anytime you're rolling down the street and we're responding. It's the loud winding sound that you hear. It's an air horn. We also have this type of siren, which is an electric siren, and all of the noise that you hear coming from the truck is coming from the front of the engine, the front of the truck, so that we can clear traffic that's in front of us. Another feature in the front bumper is we have what we call our dump line. 100 feet of 1.75" diameter hose with a combination nozzle here. We usually use our dump line for smaller fires, like a smaller brush fire or a dumpster fire, something small that we can get the truck nice and close to it. We also carry a solid bore nozzle. Solid bore nozzle is exactly the way it sounds. It's just going to shoot out a solid stream of water. A combination nozzle, we can adjust it. We can make a fog pattern where the pattern of the water is very wide, or we can make it a straighter pattern. We can adjust it from the tip right here. Another feature that the new Pierce engine in Engine Number 1 in Lowell has is what we call the bumper mirror. It's that small mirror that you see up there protruding out from the officer's side of the engine. This mirror allows our driver to get a view of the total bumper. He gets to see the whole bumper as we're taking corners. So on those tight streets where there's cars parked on the corner, we might not be able to make it or get around. Our driver can see the entire bumper from his spot up there in the driver's seat. So because Engine Company Number 1 is considered a pumper, we're pumping water, we're moving water, we actually need to move the power from the engine to take it from road mode or drive mode and place the engine into pump mode, where the power from the engine is now, instead of driving the vehicle, it's going to the actual pump that's going to move the water. So we have a couple of levers in here that's going to get us out of drive mode, bring the truck to a complete stop, place the transmission in neutral, then you're going to move this lever here to place the truck into pump mode. After the truck is placed into pump mode with this lever, we put the transmission back into drive. And now all the power from the engine has shifted from drive mode into pump mode. We are now in the rear of the cab of the apparatus. This is where the firefighters sit. We are able to carry 6 firefighters in this apparatus. The driver in the front, the officer in the passenger side front, and then 4 firefighters here in the rear of the cab. We have these style seats, which is the seat that holds our SCBA, or our self-contained breathing apparatus. The SCBA is held in by a tension rod or tension system that is released when you pull hard enough. So it will stay within the mount when we are just driving around, but when it's time to deploy, it comes off in a tension system. So you sit in the seat, put the straps of the SCBA on, and put a little bit of tension, and we can release our pack from the tension. To put the SCBA back in place, you simply put it in the mount on the bottom portion, lean it up against the tension rod, and slide it back into place. The second option for a seating arrangement is what we call jump seats. We have a jump seat on either side and they're forward facing. This is our pump panel. So this is on the driver's side of the fire engine, and this is where all of the controls, when we are in pump mode or firefighting mode, this is where all the controlling happens. As I said before, we do have a water tank inside. It's behind the casing of the truck. We carry a little over 750 gallons of water, but when that starts to get low and when we have a large fire that we need to extinguish, we need to tie into a hydrant line. So we take a 4-inch hose from a fire hydrant and it is fed directly into this valve right here. This is what's called our intake valve. So that now allows us to have a constant flow of water from a fire hydrant. With that being said, the panel itself is what allows us to move the water from the truck, from the pump, to wherever it is that we're extinguishing the fire. For example, if we used one of these hoses here, these are our cross lays. So this is 150 feet of 1 3/4 hose. This is 200 feet of 1 3/4 hose. And in order to get the water through these hoses, we have to pull one of the valves or the levers from the pump panel. So the engine also serves another purpose aside from moving water and pumping. It's also basically a giant toolbox. All of these cabinets have rolling doors. They roll up. And behind each of these doors are different tools that we have that we use on scene for our different emergencies. Underneath the tool cabinets are these swinging door cabinets. We call these torpedo holes. These torpedo holes hold our spare air bottles for our SCBA packs. This engine carries 4 extra SCBA bottles for our air packs. We're in the rear of the apparatus now. This is where we store the majority of our hose. We have different hose lengths that are stored on top here. That's called the hose bed, different lengths. Another great feature of the new apparatus are these fold-down steps. So we can go to the top of the apparatus by folding down the steps, and they're also low profile. They fold back up and get out of the way when we're done utilizing them. So to get to the hose up top, climb up on the steps, pull this lever, releases the latch for the net. We have 3 different hose diameters stored in our hose bed. This is more 1 3/4. There's 250 feet of 1 3/4 here. This is our 2.5 diameter hose. And then here is our 4-inch diameter hose. 4-inch diameter hose is the hose we use in order to connect to a fire hydrant. In order to connect to a fire hydrant, we need a large piece of equipment referred to as a HAV, which stands for Hydrant Assist Valve. We store that also in the rear of the apparatus because it's closest to the 4-inch hose. And what we do is we take this piece of equipment and we screw it right to the steamer portion, which is the front portion of a fire hydrant. From there, we take a 4-inch piece of hose, length of hose, and we attach it to the front part of the HAV. And from the front part of the HAV, the hose attaches to the intake valve, which is on the pump panel. Another great feature of the new Pierce Enforcer style fire engine is that our ground ladders are stored inside the vehicle. If you notice other fire engines driving around the city of Lowell, their ground ladders are usually mounted to the exterior, which is a great way to grab the ladders and get them deployed quickly. However, over time, they're exposed to weather and the elements and they start to rust and deteriorate. Ours here are also very quick to deploy. You just pull them out of the cabinet here. And they're inside and protected from the elements. Compared to driving a regular vehicle, obviously a fire truck is much longer. So in order to take our turns, we have to go out into the intersection to either take a left or a right to get the majority of the body of the truck out into the intersection before we take the turn. This vehicle in particular, being so new, it's much smoother, it's much faster than what we were used to, and the lights on this vehicle are not only numerous, but extremely bright. We have 750 plus gallon tank of water built right into the apparatus. That water moving around has inertia of its own with the water on board. We have the weight of the water to try and stop as well. The most important thing is to be paying attention. I know it's easy to want to put your music real loud or open your windows or talk on your phone, but you really have to be paying attention to what's going on around you, especially for emergency vehicles. The best thing to do is pull to the right side of the road. So if you hear sirens and you see lights, pull to the right side of the road. Try not to block any driveways or streets, because we might be going down the street that you're blocking. And that's the best way for us to get by, because if you stay to the right, we can stay to the left, and it creates a clear path for us.